Hello and welcome to Swiftly Spoken, a fan-made Taylor Swift podcast in which we break down her lyrics, deep dive into full album retrospectives, and theorise about what may be coming next. As always, we are your hosts Lisa and Cameron, and in this episode we're going to be discussing the already very contentious Eras tour, as well as theorise about the setlist and the spectacle itself.
Starting off with the announcement, the Eras tour was announced on the 1st of November 2022, a few weeks ago now, on Good Morning America, and then also Taylor posted it to social media. This will be her 6th concert tour, and it's described as a journey through the musical eras of her career, celebrating her music both past and present. So she made a very specific choice to, instead of making this a Midnights tour, or instead of making this like calling it as we were dubbing it before we knew what it was going to be, Folk Lover More tour or anything like that, to celebrate her entire career, which I think makes a lot of sense because now she's finally, for the first time, being able to tour all of these albums that she's put out, the ones that she owns, and the new re-recordings that she's putting out bit by bit.
I think that, I was unsure of how she was going to take it, because either she was going to brand it as like a Folklore Evermore Lover Midnights, or just brand it as Midnights.
Right.
So it was interesting that she decided to brand it as everything, which I think is way more sensible.
Honestly, I think, she's done a really good job, like, in saying we're celebrating everything, like all of Taylor's versions, plus all of the ones from Lover onwards, which in the end is her entire discography anyway. So I'm really glad that she has done it like that. And it also makes this tour so nostalgic. And I think that's one of the big reasons why so many people are interested in going. Like, not just fans from now or fans from the Lover era, but even fans from like debut era or Speak Now, or people who are more interested in her country music. Seeing it branded this way, I think it's become more appealing to all her fan base, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree, and it is. I think it's a very clever way to do it, and such a cool kind of. It was so exciting, that announcement, and seeing that poster, and it being kind of branded as the Eras tour. Because like I said, I just wasn't sure whether she would just brand it as Midnights and just kind of do like a Reputation kind of thing of like the Reputation tour. Majority songs are Reputation, so therefore the majority of songs would have been Midnights, and scatter in some stuff across her career here and there, but I think it's actually more exciting to kind of do justice to the stuff that hasn't been toured and the stuff previous by just branding it as the Eras tour. And I think Midnights will still make up a bulk of the set list. I don't think that it's going to kind of, have one or two songs. I think that it will be, more majority, or not even maybe majority, but not like kind of remixed with other songs, whereas I think there's going to be a lot of kind of, we'll get into it later, but I think there's going to be lots of kind of mashups.
Right.
But I do think that, it will still make up majority, but I think it's way more commercially clever and just clever in general to brand it as an Eras tour, because it just makes it so much more exciting for just fans, because I've kind of spoke to people that aren't diehard Taylor Swift fans, but love albums here and there, and they're like, oh no, I really want to go because it's going to be everything. Like, she's going to play stuff across all, because she can't, like with like previous tours and stuff, certain albums and stuff either haven't had a song from, or have had only one. Normally it's Speak Now that seems to get left out, but like she has to play something from debut. She has to play something from Fearless because it's in the poster. It would be like wrong not to. So it's really exciting, and I think that commercially, I think that's why it's gone berserk, because it appeals to every fan from every generation and era, because it's absolutely everything.
Definitely. And I think it's such a healthy relationship that she's developed with her past work, because I know, not so much in Taylor's case, although at some points in her career, definitely, I find that a lot of artists, as they move forward, they look back at their older work and they kind of either forget about it or don't want to remember it, or like leave it on the side and maybe sing one or two songs as they go forward, but then kind of
totally diss it.
Exactly, look back at it like with a bittersweet kind of feeling to it, or even like you just said, like really bad feelings towards it, which really, it saddens me, because it's all part of the journey. And with Taylor, she's always had a really good way of dividing eras up. And I think that obviously Taylor's versions are like what's pushing this to become what it is anyway. And also revisiting the albums and revisiting feelings from those eras, which I think is very therapeutic in a way as well. But I just think it's such a lovely way to pay homage to everything, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think an interesting artist that previously has dissed previous work is Miley Cyrus.
Right.
I think that because she has had such a kind of colourful career and explored basically almost every genre that there kind of is to physically explore, and has gone through so many kind of alterations, you know, musically, kind of the way that she presents herself and clothes and all of that, just eras. She is just, like Taylor, is kind of very distinct eras of her life. She has previously kind of dissed stuff, and I think that then fans are almost like, no, but that's important to me, and that's something that, you know what I mean, like I was with you in that moment, and you know that music is important to me. You might not relate to it and you might think that it's rubbish now, but for some people that's like
a big part of the journey.
What made them a fan, and it's in it, like you said, it is all part of the journey. And now, to be fair, she now actually seems to kind of be more positive about previous work.
Oh, good.
But Taylor has included it in set lists, whereas before Miley was always a bit weird and certain songs would just never be in set lists, or, you know. But I think Taylor has always, had a very kind of positive look on all her previous work, and realised that without that she wouldn't be where she is now, and it's all part of a story. And you might look back and think, oh, like she said in that speech that she did, where she said, you know, you will cringe on your life and you'll look back and think, oh god, but at the end of the day that's what got you here, and your self in 2 years will look back at your current self and probably think the same of, oh, that's embarrassing, you know, because you're evolving, just as nature of being a human being. So I think it's interesting that she's done that, and I have always loved that she's always been so respectful about previous work and never dissed it, and never made anyone that's a fan of that work almost feel like, oh, Taylor doesn't like it, so does that mean that I'm weird for liking it?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So I think that
really
is a thing. And there has been some points where she's never dissed it. Like you said, I think she's always had a very, very good relationship with it, but it always makes me sad, like when you see her, when she finds out that she's not nominated for Reputation for certain Grammys, and she's like, I'll just make a better record. And it's like, no, Reputation is that record. Or even
that is sad,
the transition between Red to 1989, which for a while I think she kind of looked back at Red and maybe thought it wasn't what 1989 became. But like I said, I honestly think that through Taylor's versions, and also just through maturing and how she looks back at her amazing discography now, she can see and has such a profound appreciation, just like we do. Yeah, I definitely
agree there.
A lovely way to honour that.
Yeah, I think the reason for that was because she almost, and I think she said this, where she almost felt like when she moved into her next era, she had to let go of everything that the previous one was, so that it was different, and so that she could reinvent herself. So it's almost like she had to think that previous work was rubbish, so that she could make something that was so vastly different and move on from that. Whereas I think now, by revisiting and not feeling like everything has to just be so drastically different in order to release something, she has respect for them and respect for what they kind of all stand for, and that, you know, they're all unique and important in their own way and all make up where she is now. Whereas, yeah, like you said, 1989 Taylor had slightly negative view of Red, and then, yeah, Lover Taylor, or like late Reputation Taylor, had slightly negative view of Reputation before she kind of went into Lover. And I think that's purely because she felt like she had to get rid of everything with 1989 she had to shed the country element of herself, and then obviously with like Lover she had to shed that kind of snake, vengeful kind of hidden kind of side, you know what I mean, that kind of more darker kind of element of herself, to move into this kind of positive, bright, colourful pink, you know, world that she then created. So yeah, it is interesting, but yeah, she's never like slagged it off, no. Or like dissed it. It's just more that she just kind of had a slight negative view on it, maybe, to be able to transition into what came next.
Yeah, but I definitely think this is much more of a celebration, and it's going to be I'm so excited for this. Like, just the branding is making me very exciting. In terms of dates, she started by announcing 27 total dates for the first leg, which is in North America. She then added another 8 dates, and then she added another 17, making a total of 52 shows just in North America, running from March to August next year. 52 shows is so much. Like, just to put that into perspective, the whole of the Reputation Stadium tour was like 53. And that includes like all of the 4 legs.
Crazy. And if I'm being, and the fact that like Lover was basically going to have like 3 shows in the States.
I know.
You know, we had like literally like Loverfest East, Loverfest West, like that was kind of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is crazy, and like it's just an insane amount. And to be honest, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if they threw in a few more here and there. Like, generally, I would not be surprised because the demand is so high.
This is it.
It's just bonkers.
This is
Absolutely
it. The
bonkers.
demand is so high, and it's a combination of things. It's that she hasn't been out since Reputation. Obviously, Lover was cancelled. Obviously, since then, Folklore and Evermore did so well. A lot of people got behind her through Taylor's versions. A lot of people, like we said, are very excited because this is branded as an Eras thing. And she's just got more and more popular. It's like crazy to think. Like you just think like, oh my god, she's peaking, and then she releases Midnights and breaks all of these records, and it's crazy.
It is absolutely bonkers. But yeah, it is really exciting to get so many kind of nights, and for Taylor to be doing a kind of big tour. It almost feels like the tours of old, you know what I mean? The kind of like Speak Now tours where she went literally everywhere, and even Red Tour where she went, you know, quite a lot of places. And to be fair, the 1989 tour was quite long, even though maybe it's location wise it wasn't as international. Her most international tour is the Speak Now World Tour, which is interesting, really. So it'd be intriguing to see. And to be fair, Lover was a bit more of an. It seemed like there was a bit more of a conscious effort to be a bit more international. Yeah,
Lover was going to branch out a little bit more. I really hope that she's going to take that as a blueprint, perhaps take Speak Now as well as a kind of blueprint, mix them together and really, you know, go to all these places that...
Yeah, because one good thing is that even though the majority, if not all, of the shows will be at stadiums, it's not being branded as a stadium tour.
No.
So that means that maybe in countries where she's going to be she's massive everywhere, but maybe in countries where she feels like she wouldn't be able to sell out a stadium, you know,
her
she
options
can
are open.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is exciting, and even just the branding for it. It's interesting that they use the font from the Eras merch that we've had since Lover, which is quite interesting. It's almost like they've been weirdly teasing it in some strange way. But it's interesting that they've kind of picked that. And then I only have one bone to pick,
right?
Which we've kind of discussed privately with the Eras tour, is that on the poster, Fearless is Fearless Taylor's version cover, but Red is from Red Tour, and all the kind of stolen versions as such are all tour pictures other than Rep, which is another discussion. The fact that Fearless isn't a Fearless tour picture and is Fearless Taylor's version, or the fact that Red isn't a Taylor's version picture, it just kind of...
I know, it's like, who was making that decision? Just like...
I know, it's just
make it cohesive.
Change the picture.
Please.
Yeah, I know it's really overly dramatic, but that kind of does rub me up the wrong way just a little bit. I was like, oh, come on. I was like, I love it though.
Oh, it's such a cool poster, and I hope that they do physicals of that poster, like be it at their locations or if there's like personalized ones for each day and like each geographical area. I'd love that.
Oh yeah. And I'm so excited to see tour merch. I miss the things like that.
Definitely.
Where you can go and it's, you know, like you can go and physically see the merch. What I love so much about like shows and stuff is being able to physically buy it. You don't have to pay shipping costs. You don't have to worry about how long it's going to take. You see it and you buy it, you know, like that's what I'm kind of, and it's just like a shop, you know what I mean? You get to go basically into like a mini Taylor Swift shop. So
definitely.
I'm just so excited for all those fun things.
Is set very, very high. Because that Reputation Stadium Tour merch was absolutely amazing. Like,
oh yeah,
there was a lot of, obviously there's always going to be misses, but there were a lot of hits. Like,
oh yeah,
even just the patches, which is something so basic, but at the same time so personalised.
And all of the tour, because I've got a patch from my night from Reputation, and I've got the big poster for London,
right?
And each night each city, sorry, it's not necessarily each night, but each city they had like they kind of had the kind of
different snake,
kind of famous landmates, different snake and famous landmarks. Sorry, I merged the word landmark and snake together. Famous landmarks, like kind of within that city, like kind of in it, and the snake wrapped around, and it was
such good
those
designs.
Kind of things that is really lovely because it's something that you can take from that show and reminds you of, you know what I mean, that was the show I went to. So no, I really am quite excited for all those things, which is silly, but hopefully Taylor's merch is with most artists, much is very hit and miss.
Yeah.
So you never know, but it's still quite exciting nonetheless. And I think, to be fair, I think tour merch is normally quite bog standard, but hopefully, we get something. What was so exciting about Rep was that they made it wearable. It wasn't just like,
that's what I liked about it.
We're just going to shove Taylor's face on the front with tour dates on the back. Like, there was t-shirts and stuff like that because that's what some people want.
Exactly.
But what they made about it was fun and wearable, and you could wear it, you could style it. So hopefully they do something similar, because that was really, really cool.
Definitely a very exciting part of the whole tour experience is that merch. But something that we have to speak about, which isn't that exciting at all, and we're not really involved in, because obviously, as of right now, we don't have any international dates. As far as we know, they're coming soon. How soon that may be, no idea. We'll speak about that in a moment. But before all of that, we have to speak about the Ticketmaster debacle, basically. How badly it all went for US fans, which there was such an unprecedented demand. That is like the excuse, really, that Ticketmaster is kind of throwing out there. But they did make a lot of mistakes. The site, Ticketmaster, really fumbled the bag. They did a really bad job, and it led to a lot of frustration from both fans and Taylor alike, and has led to having to cancel a whole release of tickets, basically, which we're kind of unsure of as of right now, what
that entails.
Yeah, what's the final... what will come out of this, but it would seem right now that the tickets are basically sold out.
Which is crazy that in a pre-sale that's happened, and it's so sad. And the fact that they said that like 14 million people hit that website, and that she could have sold out 900 stadiums, and basically would have to tour for the next 3 years to meet that demand. And that's just pre-sale. That's not general. So, there would still be people that were hoping to get general. It's just bonkers. Like, there's so much went wrong, and and it is so sad of like, the fact that people were queuing for that long trying to get tickets and were finding they couldn't. And, all of these problems, and it crashing and not being given the right sites and joining waiting lists and being on this list or that list, and then told, oh no, general, and then them cancelling it because basically they have insignificant tickets left. It's like, well, that means that they've basically sold them, which is just sad, because then you've got to go through third parties, which is expensive and
ridiculous.
It's just caused. I can't believe the demand. That's just crazy.
Yeah,
and I can't believe the kind of fallout and reaction from it. Like, proper big news sites talking about it. It just seems very kind of. It's not even like it's just kind of existing within the Taylor Swift.
No, it's
world.
Something much bigger than that.
Oh yeah, it's really kind of gone off, and lots of people have kind of been talking to me about it and stuff, because I think lots of people are very aware of it, and hopefully, and I think, to be fair, most people that have kind of spoken to me about it and I've kind of seen, initially it seemed like a lot of the blame was on Taylor, but I think people are realising that Ticketmaster are at fault, like they're the website that kind of, it all went down on. So yeah, it is crazy. It almost took the polish and excitement off of tour. Like, people that have kind of got tickets, I haven't seen this like crazy. It wasn't like, oh my god, I'm so excited. It was like,
I think they
I got tickets.
May even have felt bad. I think a lot of people that even got tickets,
it's almost like a sense of guilt.
Exactly, may have felt guilty about celebrating because of seeing how many people kind of shut out, and with the cancellation of the general sale being right there right now. I think it has left a lot of people with kind of a bad taste in their mouth, which is such a shame. And I think even Taylor herself is not happy at all with how it all went down at all.
Yeah.
From her statement, she's not. I can only imagine what's going down behind the scenes. And I honestly think that if she was able to do it all in-house and do it all herself, she would have. Unfortunately, it's just impossible to cut out.
It's just the nature of touring.
Yeah. If any of you guys are from the USA and you did manage to get tickets, or you didn't, let us know your experiences. Tell us about it, because it's something that is... Obviously, we empathize and we can speak about it, but it's something very far away from us as of right now, because we haven't been directly involved in the process, luckily, honestly, for us.
I guess then, talking about tour dates, international dates, sorry.
Yes.
I feel like if this hadn't all have gone down the way it had, that international would be being announced very soon, but I think now that that's not going to happen till New Year.
Yeah, I'm in two minds anyway about international dates. Firstly, because, like you said, I think this situation is really going to affect all of the rest of the dates that are coming. And it is such a difficult thing to organise. Like this, it is quite of a feat to kind of go to all of these places and organise all of these venues, and then how you're going to sell tickets and how many can be available. I mean, I can't even imagine. But yeah, I definitely think that they're going to be postponed, like the announcement, because I think things may be changing behind the scenes vis-a-vis like how they're going to be sold. Hopefully taking this and put it into practice to try and make it smoother. But I also kind of do think that the Eras tour is going to go on for longer than any other tour.
Yes, this is exactly what I was going to say. I don't think the international dates are going to be next year. If she's touring from March to August,
I don't think
is kind of... No one's going to a concert in like November. You'd be freezing.
Exactly.
Especially if you're in a stadium.
For many places, I mean, obviously what she can do, because when we speak about international dates, we are thinking of Europe for ourselves. What she can do is tour in the Southern Hemisphere throughout that time. So, you know, there's a lot of places like Australia. There's a lot of Asian dates that she sometimes does do, or she has done in the past in, you know, autumn time. So perhaps those dates might be coming. Southern Hemisphere, Latin America, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I do think
very true.
What concerns us, which would be the European tour or the leg of the tour, I do think that we're kind of looking more towards 2024, which is crazy.
Which is bonkers. Yeah.
Going from not seeing her for like months and months to being able to kind of get content from her every weekend is going to be absolutely crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, literally, you know, it's a very exciting tour. We haven't really experienced a tour since Reputation, and for many fans, this might be the first tour that they're kind of living through, even online.
Yeah.
Just seeing, like, people getting so excited, posting videos, posting pictures of, like, the different tour outfits, set list.
The most exciting bit is that opening night when you don't know the set list.
Right.
And it's just... everyone online is chatting about that. Oh my gosh, she's playing this, and you're like finding out as it happens, and you're watching all these dodgy videos that look like they've been filmed on a microwave. And then after a couple of weeks, then all the good stuff starts to come out, and then you start to feel a bit more like in the know about it. And even silly things like every day, I would go on Taylor Nation on their story during the Reputation tour, would like post a snippet of what that night's song was. And obviously, the lead up to Reputation tour, Taylor like did all the teasing on her Instagram story. So it's just all those kind of silly things online that just make it so exciting. And then tour outfits and like what ones change.
Exactly.
And, you know, the colours and stuff like that.
It comes with a lot of content that we're going to get from her for a long time. So even though, you know, we haven't got international dates confirmed right now, I'm still excited for the USA tour, even though we're so far away. But yeah, it's very exciting. Talking about what we do know, though, one thing that we know for sure are the opening acts. How are you feeling about them? So we have Paramore, Haim, Phoebe Bridgers, Bieber Doobie, Golden Red, Muna, Gail, Grace Abrams, and Owen. So we've got a mix going on here. Who are you most excited about?
Haim for me. I'm a big Haim fan. I've obviously seen them live. I was there the night that they brought out Taylor.
Yep.
You know, just casually drop that in there.
What night?
Obviously they were kind of the openers for 1989 on some dates, which is quite cool to have them back. And obviously Taylor and Haim are big friend, and they're good friends. And obviously I'm a big fan, so obviously that's exciting. I think Paramore's quite exciting. I'm not well versed in Paramore songs, but they're like a big, you know what I mean? They're like big. I was quite surprised. Phoebe Bridgers is obviously exciting, so she's a big Taylor fan, and obviously with Nothing New. I think all of them, to be fair, even Gail and Taylor's interaction with her recently has been really lovely. Gracie Abrams is a massive Taylor fan, so I think it's quite cool, and it's cool that it's kind of very female-led.
Yes,
which is exciting.
And there's a nice variety going on, like smaller artists, bigger artists. It's a really nice selection, I do think so, and it's helping a lot of smaller artists like Owen. It's really nice to see him, who was a dancer on previous tours and obviously featured in the Lover music video, now becoming an opener.
Yeah, which is exciting as well. Yeah, which is really, really cool. That is exciting. I hadn't really even thought about that. Yeah. I think what's quite nice is it's a real mix. So it's like different nights are having different people and different kind of mixes of this person and that person. You know, it's not all like set. Yeah. Which is quite cool.
Yeah, and I really do think she's got a really nice selection. And like you said, a variety of people, because obviously for Reputation we had Charlie XCX and Camila Cabello. You kind of knew what you was going to get. But here, I think, you know, people got a nice bit of variety, even if they're going to various dates. they might have a different kind of experience.
There is a couple.
Mm-hmm.
See, I really, I've become utterly obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter recently, what with the release of her album Emails I Can't Send. Love it, incredible, highly recommend. If you haven't listened, go listen. But I would love her to be an opener. I think she'd be perfect. I think she fits perfectly.
Yeah, she's been interacting quite a lot with Taylor recently, so that's
exactly,
it bodes well for international dates, perhaps.
Definitely, and is a legitimate Taylor fan.
Oh god, yeah, she's a
and has been a big Taylor fan for a long time. I'm surprised to not see people like Cohen Gray on the list. I was quite surprised by that.
Right.
I'm not overly well versed in his music. I think I know one song, his kind of big hit.
Yeah.
But I was slightly surprised by that because obviously they have interacted in the past and he said that he's a big Taylor fan.
I guess it also depends with scheduling things because this is quite a big undertaking, even for
100%.
even for all of these opening acts, because they've signed up for quite a few days each. But it still takes up quite a lot of time in their own scheduling and their own things that they go off and do. I guess maybe that's why, but I do agree it's kind of surprising not to see a couple of names on this list. But then it's quite nice to see different names that I maybe don't recognise and I
didn't expect.
Exactly. Yeah. I haven't heard some of the music from these opening acts, so I'm gonna try and have a look into them before kind of see. Well, I'm not going to any of the US dates, of course, but before we kind of experience what they might be like as opening acts for Taylor. And talking about international dates once again, obviously I don't think we're going to get exactly the same opening acts. I do think some will cross over perhaps, but especially if we bleed into next year or the year after, should I say, I think some of the smaller artists will definitely bleed. I think Paramore, they're doing those two shows. Yeah, and it's quite set. A special moment, and that's about it.
Exactly, yeah. Phoebe Bridgers, I don't know, maybe, but I definitely think the ones kind of after Phoebe, like Girl in Red, Gail, I think maybe they might possibly continue over. I'm not sure. Or Taylor might totally change it up for international, you never know.
Yeah. I do. I know I go on about her, but just can you imagine you and I at a Taylor Swift concert with Sabrina, Nina Nesbitt, and then Taylor comes on like that?
Taylor, it would be incredible.
A dream.
Yeah, it would be a dream. To be fair, even Haim, like I said, I would literally.
Oh God,
that would be.
I just think they're so big. Like, anyway, how can they be openers if they're so big? Though,
that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. Like, I went to a sold out show at the O2 for Haim, so it's just it's mad that they're
not saying the other ones are small or they don't deserve their own concerts.
Because Paramore are massive as well.
Exactly,
geez,
and even Girl in Red, Gracie Abrams, they have such a solid fan base,
big following themselves.
Yeah. So I'm not saying some of them are small, but it's just such an amazing concert you're going to experience.
Yeah, when you think of some of Taylor's previous openers, the fact that Fearless, Justin Bieber opened.
This is true.
And then obviously
Shawn Mendes
for 1989, Ed Sheeran for Red, Haim, obviously. Charlie XCX, Camila Cabello. Yep. It's always pretty big, decent names.
This is true.
So
yeah, I definitely think these are such quality opening acts, and I'm very excited 100%. To see if we get any of these. I'll be very, very happy. My heart is holding on for Nina Nesbitt at some point because that would be just a 2-for-1 for me. Which
I think it definitely could realistically happen on international dates like kind of Europe, UK.
Exactly, yeah.
So. I don't think it's unrealistic. I really don't. I think it.
But yeah, honestly, definitely. Such talented opening acts that she's got going on, which is just exciting in itself. I'd be there from 5 o'clock.
And also what's quite exciting, I suppose, is obviously it's kind of giving the Love of Fest vibes of
and friends.
Lots of artists and friends and things like that. Because obviously we never ever got to find out who those friends were.
We never did.
So wonder if people like Paramore or Haim, I could definitely imagine Haim probably were.
Yeah.
Were maybe some of those friends.
The next thing that we do know about right now is the stage layout, which is very interesting because we haven't got a B stage. We've basically got a massive stage with kind of a big catwalk leading to this diamondy area that then leads to another smaller stage. When I say smaller, keep in mind that it's still massive.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the stage layout? Because I know a lot of people were thinking about the 360-degree stage, which was going to be used for Lava. A lot of people thought we might get a clock, but we didn't, obviously.
I've always been, 360 stages I'm never overly keen on because I find that the kind of screens and the kind of production element is always slightly lost.
A bit awkward.
Because obviously you don't have a backing, you know, like it's, and the band are all there, so it's like there's, I don't know, like for certain people it works, so for like people like Ed Sheeran and stuff that, you know, it's him stood on the stage playing a guitar,
right,
it kind of works. But I think, I don't know, for Taylor, I was always, with Lover, I was like, how's this going to work? Because she's, you know, she has dancers and band and big production elements and, you know, like kind of big on-stage kind of stuff and instruments that they bang and use and, you know, make part of the show. So I was just always like, how's this going to work? And I love how it's such an awkward shape as well. It's such a kind of weird shape.
I always thought that when I saw it, I was like, it's such a, because obviously the clock that a lot of people were thinking about because of midnights and that, and because it's also, you know, divided into 12 kind of sections, which kind of works. But yeah, I guess the roundedness of that would work, but the love heart, just such a difficult shape.
It's just an awkward shape, yeah. So no, I'm kind of glad that it's kind of traditional stage. It is sad we don't have B stages, because obviously there is something quite nice about that, but we didn't for 1989. It was just that big catwalk that lifted up.
Exactly.
So maybe it's something similar.
Yeah, I'm feeling we're going to get her through the skies at some point as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. That's the thing. She might even kind of do like a thing that she did with like Speak Now, where she gets on the balcony and then goes round and kind of, but I do think though that the stage extends just as far as the B stages did on the Reputation Stadium tour anyway.
Honestly, I think so.
It's the same thing, and I think that it, to be fair, it probably just saves logistical time, because they had problems during the Reputation tour with like some of the kind of carryovers to the B stages like wouldn't work and all of this, and then, you know, then she's got to cross across them and go through the crowd and stuff like that. So I think that there's kind of a reason for it. And I don't know, it's quite exciting though to have this massive catwalk. It's like the 1989 World Tour stage on drugs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just mental how long that stage is. It's huge. But I think maybe it might have something similar to 1989, might lift up or stuff like that, which is cool. It is exciting. There's so much. The thing that's so exciting about tour is that there's so much elements of just even silly things, like the fact that the stage is something to be excited about. You know, there's just so much to be excited about.
Exactly. It's like crazy because we don't really know many things. We know like the openers, we know the stage, we have theories about other things. Some things have been mentioned here and there, but other than that, we don't know much. And even so, it's just very, very exciting, even though we're months and months off. Other than that, we don't really know anything for sure. So now we're kind of venturing into our theories. As for set lists and songs, I know you said to me that you were kind of thinking about this the other day, and you have some songs that you think are locked in. What would those be?
Yeah. So I think, so I'll go through each album, and obviously this is just my own personal feeling.
Just our
and I've tried to pick songs that I think are fan favourites. Because at the end of the day, I know lots of people are going, oh no, Taylor should be doing this for fans, not for locals. At the end of the day, she's going to have to appease both.
Exactly.
Because that's the nature of a concert. Like, you can't just, you know, she can't just get up on stage and play like Evermore, you know, because as much as I would love that, like I would love that. It's not the vibe. It's not the nature of a concert. You have to play hits. You have to play stuff across things. And obviously the fact that this is branded as an Eras tour, it's everything across. There has to be at least one from each thing. So the songs that I was thinking, and this is probably quite a lot, so a lot of them I think would be mashed. I think there's going to be a lot of mashups, a lot of kind of like Love Story, You Belong With Me style from Reputation tour kind of thing. Definitely. I think that's going to be, which is slightly a shame, but actually not, because it does mean you get through a lot of songs, and normally she plays the best bits of the song, you know, the bit that's the cool bit.
Honestly, that Love Story, You Belong With Me part mashup, I absolutely loved it. The way it just flowed into each other so well, and how it was arranged, like the band did such a good job.
Even the merge into kind of style afterwards worked perfectly.
Yeah. And honestly, some of her mashups on tour are really, really well done. Like Enchanted, Wildest Dreams. Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, the songs that I was thinking, so from debut, I think that it's basically going to be Should Have Said No, Our Song.
Yes.
Those two. From Fearless, I'm thinking You Belong With Me, Love Story, Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Okay, we got a vault track in there.
She has to pull stuff from the vaults. I think that she has to, because otherwise the whole point of these is like that she's talking a lot about the vaults recently. So I'm thinking that. Then Speak Now, obviously we don't know when Speak Now Taylor's version is coming, but I think it's imminent.
Yes.
So
I'm
this
feeling
is just purely on what we
pre the Eras tour, honestly.
Me too, 100%. 100%. So it depends on that, but I'm kind of thinking Enchanted. Then Red, I'm thinking All Too Well 10 Minute. Like, I know it's a 10-minute song, but I just think that it's... Taylor Nation have low-key kind of confirmed it on Twitter. They were kind of like, oh yeah, we can't wait to hear that on the Euros Tour.
Right.
Too. So I think that the demand for that is so high. Like, come on. I would literally pass out if I ever heard that song.
It is.
So yeah, All Too Well 10 Minute, like, I Knew You Were Trouble. I don't think, maybe We're Never Ever Getting Back to... I'm not sure.
Yeah,
not sure.
it's crazy. Like, even just up to now, we haven't even got halfway, and we've already said, like, quite a few songs. It's so scary.
But I think those are going to be... But I think she'll do something like I Knew You Were Trouble because that's a hit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to pick, like, hits.
Yeah.
So you've got, like, Love Story, You Belong With Me, I Knew You Were Trouble. I think those. And then for 1989, I think it's going to be, like, Blank Space Style.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe... something else. I'm not too sure, but I don't think Shake It Off.
I know, you said this to me earlier. You said that you was not feeling Shake It Off. I think Shake It Off right now is in the midst of a bit of a battle. But once the lawsuit is done and over with, which should be way before the tour kicks off, I think that it kind of will depend on what happens there, what's going to happen to Shake It Off, but I do feel like it will be included. It's just that song. It is her number one song, honestly. Yeah.
I do get what you mean. And then I think Reputation will be Delicate.
Definitely. That's basically confirmed because on TikTok she kind of she commented on
about the 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Lover, I'm thinking Cruel Summer,
Definitely.
the song Lover. And then maybe, I know lots of people talking about, and I think he knows, kind of Lavender Haze mashup. I don't really see that happening.
Oh, I quite like that idea. I think it fits really well.
I do like it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not too sure. So I'm hoping like something like Lover, Cruel Summer, and then maybe something else like maybe The Man or Cornelia Street or something like that. One of those. And then Folklore. Yeah, Folklore is one. I think Folklore is going to be that Grammy mashup.
Oh, I'd love that.
Cardigan.
Oh, please do a full
August,
version of Willow like that. Oh.
Yeah. Cardigan, August, Willow, and then I think maybe Right Where You Left Me. Something random.
Okay.
Like generally, I'm feeling that. And then
obviously we head to Midnights.
Midnights, which I couldn't really pick right now, I'm not going to lie.
It's very difficult because Midnights is an incredible album in terms of a touring album. It has a lot of really good songs that can be played in a tour, like tour setups.
Ones that are almost, I think Lavender Haze,
Antihero,
Bejeweled.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I would love a Midnight Rain piano.
Oh my god, that audio that's going around right now is absolutely incredible.
Also, I was thinking she might might mash up. She might possibly mash up like Red. So like mash Red with Daylight with Maroon or something. I think that she's going to be quite clever with stuff.
So good. Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a lot of mashups. Looking back on it, I'm kind of like, no, actually, I think that is so hard to pick. I can't even imagine how hard it is. I think you've done a good job kind of pointing out all of her big hits. So, we're skipping over so many amazing like touring songs. Oh, yeah. But she's got to do something 100%. Somehow where she cuts down. And I think, well, firstly, it's important to mention that since her last tour, since Reputation Stadium Tour, she's put out over 90 songs that we've never heard live at all, which is crazy. It is crazy.
And I do think there'll be main songs that are going to be played like every night, like the hits. Like, there'll be
a set list, yeah.
Think of the AMA's Artist of the Decade kind of mashup, plus the Folklore Evermore Grammy, plus whatever she chooses from Midnights. They're like the staples. And then I do think we're going to get a lot of surprise songs that are kind of switched out.
I think we're going to get that acoustic moment, which will be All Too Well 10 Minute,
and then a surprise.
Then it will be something else.
I think we might get a couple of surprise songs. That way, she can kind of switch out. Might be. Yeah, which is a lot of hard work. But I really do. Yeah. I really want, like...
And bless her, she's going to do that thing where she forgets the lyrics. Because
there's just so much going
whenever she plays those surprise songs, bless her, she always forgets the lyrics or gets it wrong or kind of is like... Blah, 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 and you're like, what was that?
Especially if we're going back right to, like, debut. Well, actually, this time round, she might kind of be more up to date with everything. Yeah, because I suppose she's had to go back and re-record them and stuff. But yeah, I do think that what I do think though is that there will be something off of the vaults. So I think there will be something off of Red Vault, which is All Too Well 10 Minute. I think there will be something off of Fearless Vault, which will be Mr. Perfectly Fine. I also do think, thanks to special guests like Phoebe Bridgers, on the dates that Phoebe is there, I do think we might be lucky enough to get a Nothing New. Yeah. Like, on the dates that Haim's there,
100%.
I do think we might be lucky enough to get...
She should play Gasoline.
Well, we've also got No Body, No Crime.
No Body, No Crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. I think that she'd be really missing a trick if she didn't.
Definitely. And then there's also some interesting dates that I'm crossing my fingers we're going to get, like, specific songs for. So, for example, there is a concert on April 29th. I'm begging to all the Swiftie gods that we get High Infidelity on that day.
Oh, I think she'd be so stupid not to. Like, that would be so silly not to. Like, that has got to be the surprise song. That's just so
crazy.
Cool.
They'd go crazy.
Exactly, like saying, where were you on April 29th? Like, come on, like... Yeah. I'm just putting... I think, that needs to be put out into the universe because that needs to happen.
Then we don't have July 9th, unfortunately, but we do have July 8th, which is very, very close to get a lucky last kiss in there.
And she could change the lyric when she sings it. She could say like that, July 8th.
Yeah, I mean, that is another interesting thing that she does do, and it is another exciting thing about concerts. It's like live changes to songs where she kind of switches out little things.
My God, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, the fact that like the songs will get changed up when you think of like 1989, when you think of like I Knew Your Trouble, We're Never Ever Getting Back Together, the rock version of We're Never Getting Back Together, the slowed down version of I Knew Your Trouble.
This is it.
Love Story, pop mix.
There's a lot to be excited about. And then like, just like all the different compositions that could come into play, and then all these little things that she switches. I Did Something Bad. She even, exactly, she even adds like little lyrics that, you know, I did something bad, they don't need their reasons, and it's just for fun. Just those two little lines, they really elevate it. So,
and even like back in the Red tour when she kind of gave You Belong With Me a kind of new version.
Yeah, kind of like a...
I don't even know how to describe that version.
A Motown it's kind of thing, really, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like this kind of showgirly kind of vibe to it. But yeah, no, that is exciting. I had not even thought about that, Not only are we going to get mashups, but tour... Did she always change up the songs on tour? And they're so much better on tour. There's something about them when they get changed up for tour that makes it... Because they just get amplified and made more, like... more showy and just really cool. Well, we all know
that We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together 1989 rock version has created a faction of Swifties that just want a rock album. Like, that is their religion, you know? So I definitely think that there's a lot to look forward to. Another thing... smaller thing, because not as important as the music, but the costumes and the set design is going to be really interesting, because how do you mesh all of these eras together in a set? Like, is it going to be changing for her costumes? Is she going to bring back some old hits like she has done for recently in like the
with the Capital one,
exactly, in the advert
trailer?
That would be exciting to see. I really, more than bringing back the old ones, maybe like new takes on the old ones.
Yeah, maybe she'd be slightly concerned about Damn It, because they're like artifacts. You know what I mean?
I do think she has like various versions.
Oh, probably, yeah.
But I agree with you, like, it's also kind of like you grow out of those, and they're a nice way to tip your hat to that moment, or when you want to recreate a certain thing, like in the Reputation video.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think like it would be nice to see her, like I said, in like a purple dress, but it's not the same, which shows you, I think that's kind of like Midnight's itself, right? It's like looking back and reliving it, but it's through, mature... like you said,
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
I think that's a really good idea, actually. One thing that I do want, though, is old guitars.
Yes.
I want koi guitar. I want sparkles.
Yes.
I want that gorgeous kind of Hawaiian wood guitar. I want the ukulele back.
Yes. Like that Lover pastel, that Reputation dark black.
Yeah, green.
That 1989 sparkly, that koi guitar. Yeah. It's already made an appearance, which even shook me to my bones.
The red guitar, the red electric, red acoustic guitar. Oh my god,
yes.
And a red electric guitar, with like the kind of bedazzled.
Yeah.
The one that I would die to see is the koi.
I know.
The fact that she's brought it out, though, for Antihero, which was very random.
I feel like she might bring it out. I feel like this tour is really going to be very nostalgic and very infused with all of these little details from different eras, some way or another. either revamped, either, I don't know. I don't know. It's such an undertaking because there are so many songs. There's so much to kind of go through.
Talking about stuff, because obviously we can't really determine the entire set list, but what's so important is always, and I've always been quite good at being able to work out what is an opener and what's a closer.
Right, interesting.
From because normally, on the albums, it's normally the opener is the opener of the album because there's a reason for it.
In general, yeah.
But the closer of the album normally isn't the closer of...
Exactly. We usually get a hit it's normally, at the end.
Yeah, you get a hit or a song that really goes off.
Yeah.
So I am thinking that for the Eras tour, I think the opener would be something like Lavender Haze.
I do think so, because
I think the
iconicity, exactly, the iconicity of just a dark stage. Taylor kind of it's kind of similar to Reputation, are you ready for it? But Meet Me at Midnight, amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling for the closer though? How do you close this all off? It's just crazy.
Do you just go out all on a bang and do a massive hit?
I'm sorry to say Shake It Off, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say it, but I just think Shake It Off is such a big legacy for her.
Or I don't know if Anti-Hero is the one though. I think it's got
now she does me.
Massive blank space. Oh,
sorry.
Maybe you might have seen it when I was going through the hits. Know. That didn't come up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well,
Cruel Summer feels like an opener though.
It's going to be so difficult.
Even though it's not going to be.
It's going to be very, very difficult because it is a mashup of all of the eras. But I guess
I think it's got to be something like either, I don't know, Love Story isn't a closer though.
I think it really depends where she wants to, what she wants to focalize and what she kind of wants to put the spotlight on. Because obviously we have had tours for all of her old albums, so I do think she will give spotlight moments to Lover onwards.
Yeah,
personally, even though this is the Eras tour, and she will give a moment to everything. Perhaps in different ways, perhaps through different mashups, perhaps different ways on different nights. We don't know, but I do think the focal moments will be Lover, Folklore, Evermore, to the extent that they can be, and Midnights. I am feeling the opener closer will be Midnights or Midnights adjacent through mashup or something.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know nothing in terms of what she might do for dancing or choreography, but that bejeweled choreography though.
Yes, maybe she might possibly do that. That would be funny.
The meme that it has become is just amazing.
It's crazy, yeah. And to be fair, I hadn't even thought of the fact with dancers.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's been a thing since Fearless, dancers. Yeah. So that's probably going to happen, realistically. So no, it is exciting. There's so much exciting stuff to think about.
There definitely
is. We've got to have a piano moment. We've got to have an acoustic moment.
Yep. And then just to think about even more things, we're going to get amazing speeches every night, and we're going to get these interactions that she has where the irony of her saying, "Hi, it's Taylor." Yeah. We know Taylor. We know, but...
Hi, it's me, Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the I know that there's so many things you could have been doing on your Saturday night, so I'm so glad that you decided to spend your night with me. It's what do you think? Do you not think that I wouldn't?
There's so much to guess about and to be excited about and to kind of wage bets about. So let us know in the comments what you think about what may be locked in that set list. What songs you think might not make it? What songs you think will make it for the acoustic moment? Do you think there'll be any guaranteed mashups? Very interesting for us to hear different opinions about everything, and we will be answering the comments and trying to get to all of them. But yeah, a lot to be excited about, even though we are a ways off yet. In relation to the Eras tour, we have got a very fun series planned of short episodes in which we recap different eras of Taylor's career, counting down towards the opening of the tour. This is something that we are planning out at the moment, but we want to go over, songs that she has played in different eras, songs that she hasn't, which ones because of that she might want to highlight, and go through all of the eras, kind of giving a recap before we get to this massive celebration of everything coming together next March. So do stay tuned for that. If you're excited about that, make sure to subscribe because that will be coming soon.
We've now come to the end of this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did, discussing it and discussing all the theories. As you've probably heard, we are very excited about the Eras Tour and the prospects of all the fun things that are going to come as a result of it. If you did enjoy, make sure that you follow us over on our Instagram at Swiftly Spoken Podcast, and you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you give us a like and review us over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But thanks again for listening.